Virginia Master Gardeners Association, and today we're going to talk about trimming a myrtle topiary. These are some that I have here. This is a single ball, this is the double ball, and I have all of these in the sphere shape. This right here is a lemon cypress that I've had for probably maybe a year and a half. I want this to get fuller. It's really tall. It's got a lot of vertical growth on it, which I have cut the central leader on that, so it's not going to get any taller, and I'm just waiting for this to fill out. I'll share a little bit more about that later. This is the only myrtle topiary that I have that was started from a small herb. Maybe a year and a half ago, I found a couple of the myrtles at a local nursery in the herb section, very small. So I have let that one grow, and I trimmed it back the other day. I may have it on video for you, to start to form a sphere here. These are from the Mediterranean. They are a shrub and herb. I keep mine indoors, but I do bring them outdoors quite a bit for watering. What I will do is I will just have my water hose on the gentle, not a blast, just gentle. And I like to come in and I give the entire ball of foliage a good soak, making sure that the soil gets soaked really, really well. Also, I like to fertilize mine with a diluted fertilizer probably once a week. I will cut back in January, but typically they seem to do extremely well if I give them a diluted fertilizer. If I have them in the house in the winter when the heat is on, I will group like 3 of them together and I will put a diffuser on them. Excuse me, no essential oils, just plain old water diffusing on them to put some moisture back into the air, because they will dry out very, very quickly. Let's see what else that I can tell you about the myrtles. I just love them. We've talked about the care. Sun requirements. You may see that on the tag, if you find them in a nursery, that they can take full sun, not the full Virginia sun, not my experience. So I will have these in a south-facing window in the winter, but if I have them outside, they're going to be under my patio, this covered area right here. I'm not going to have them in full sun. I did that one year just for a couple of days, and they got burned. As a matter of fact, I lost one of them. Even though I was watering it, the sun was just too strong for these. Perhaps if they were grown outdoors, if they were in the ground growing, because the Mediterranean does get hot and the sun is pretty hot, perhaps then, but I haven't done that. So for now, I would say keep them in partial sun shade if you have them outside. Let's see. Okay. I think that's it. If I think of anything else as we're doing the trimming, I will share it. Some of the information I may repeat again. I just don't know. So thanks so much for joining me, and we'll get started on the trimming aspect of it. Thanks. Today I want to focus on how to trim it, okay? There are a number of different pruning shears that you can use. I prefer just a pair of sharp scissors. The stem on a myrtle is not thick. It's not that woody, not this one. The trunk, of course, is. So they work, to me, the easiest. Whenever you're going to prune anything or trim, you always want to clean your shears with some kind of cleaning agent. I use rubbing alcohol. Please be very, very careful. You just don't want to run the risk of taking any type of disease or insect infestation from one plant to another. Also, you will notice that I have here at the base, I have just an old t-shirt wrapped around the base of the pot. It can be a tablecloth, it can be anything that you have. You don't even have to do it if you don't want to. To me, it's just much easier for cleanup. It prevents all the trimmings from going down in here into the pot. This is what they call a standard, a single ball, a poodle topiary. And so you can kind of see, of course, that the shape has already been started and formed. It's in a sphere, a globe, a circle, a ball. You will hear it referred to as many different things. What I do is you're going to start off, and I kind of flat top it. And this one's going to get a fair amount cut off. It's had a lot of new growth that you can see after I've trimmed right here, the difference. I would always say to err on the side of trimming less. You can always go back and trim more, but you can't add more. So because I've done this before, I was probably a little more aggressive. So just keep that in mind when you start. And again, I'm just going to kind of go in and do a little bit of a flat top here. And for me, when I'm trimming, I try to rotate so that I can keep the same angle. This side from this side. It's much easier if I turn the topiary and kind of keep these scissors at the same angle. That doesn't mean that you're not going to see me go in here randomly and just take a snip here and a snip there. I will do that. But that's what I typically try to do for the majority of the trimming. All right, so we've kind of got our flat top here. I'm going to go in here and trim at an angle and go down the sides. There's so many different things that you can do with the topiaries. For example, do you see how this one is rounded? Like I said, a sphere. You could call it a globe, a ball, a circle. Sometimes you will see where this will come out at the bottom and it will be pretty much flat, like this, and then come up more almost like a gumdrop shape. It's up to you what you like, and it's also what the plant lends itself to. With this type of topiary, you could definitely go in here and have this flat bottom come up more of an oval and do a gumdrop shape. All right, let's get back to this one. Snip, snip, snip. And you'll see as we go down towards the bottom, you're going to change that angle a little bit. And when I turn this, I'm going to have a little bit of a guide right here where I've already cut. So I'm going to try to follow that guide as much as I can. Just take your time and go slow. And don't worry about stepping back and taking a good look at it. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to walk around and get behind the camera and take a look at it. It's really, you get a whole different perspective when you step back and look at it. If you have this on display in your home, most likely you're not going to be this close to it. You're going to be back a couple of feet, if not 5 feet, 10 feet, to admire the beauty of it. So we're going to step back and take a look at this. Oh yeah, I think that's looking really, really good. You can see from here, I'm going to probably want a little snip, snip. Sorry, just reached right there in front of you, didn't I? Okay, so let's turn it. And we're going to do the same thing. Like I said, don't be afraid to trim, but maybe be light-handed when you first go in. Try to have a line that you're following. And you can see how my angle changes when I get down to the bottom. I do always like to start at the top. I can see here, got a little more I need to shape up. And here we go. If you, once COVID gets under control and you start to entertain, or maybe you already are in your home and you like to have fresh flowers out, something happens, you forget the flowers, run out of time, please go get your topiary. These are so beautiful out on the table, on the fireplace mantle, on a side table. They just make such an elegant statement when these are in the room. Really, to me, it elevates the room to a different level. And you'll be surprised at just what a nice, clean, fresh, crisp look that it brings to your room. Okay, from here, I'm going to step back behind the camera because I'm seeing a different angle. Oh yeah, can you see this? Where this is more rounded than on this side. We've got a couple of options here. We can leave this. This will probably grow back in within a month. Or we can try to take some of that out on the opposite side. I'm going to finish it up before we do any major changes to this and just see what it looks like. You could, and we can talk about this in another video because we can't do that one today. For example, this long stem right here, we could clip this closer to the base, to the central leader stem right here, and you could try to propagate this. So we'll save that for another day. How about that? Okay, I think it's looking so good, so good. I think I can see that angle change. So we are going to step back and take another look at this thing here. All right, let's turn it. Okay, you're gonna hear bark probably, my dog. Just excuse her please, she hears a siren and that upsets her sometimes. Okay, I can still see this, where this one's dipping in on me. I'm not gonna change it too much. I like symmetry, but these are never going to be perfect. And because when you step back from them, they just take on a whole different look. I can't stress that enough. Go slow, step back, have a light hand at this. See how I fluffed this out? And you can see that I've got some really tall pieces that I'm gonna have to snip in here. So that's what I'm going to do. Sorry, there was a bug there. All right, let's see what we're looking like. Ooh, okay. Let me come in here and snip a little. I'm trying to keep my hand out from the front of you there. If you see any branches that do not have any growth on them, go ahead and clip those as well. Some people like to go in when you get into pruning and go into the plant and cut just a few branches out, just sparsely, and that can kind of thicken things up. It will allow a little more light into your plant. We're not going to do that today. We may do it on another one. Right now I just want to get this one in good shape for the spring, so it'll be pretty on display. All right, let's turn her and let's see what she's looking like. Okay. Okay, I think this looks much better. I can see a little something going on in here. It looks like I need to change that angle just a little bit. And when I see something like that, I don't go in, like I said, with a heavy hand. You want to go in with a light touch. Fluff this out. And when I am finished trimming this, I will give this a wonderful soak. I will soak the soil. I will go in, give it a nice watering through here on gentle. Just take my water hose in there. And these myrtles respond very well to watering. Okay, I'm finding some little stems in here I want to trim up. Let's take a peek. Okay, just a little through here, just a little. All right, let's turn this. I'm going to turn it and then step back behind the camera to get the same view that you're getting. Oh, I think it's looking really good. Like I said, if you just get up on it close and just constantly, and you're just looking, you're going to find that it's not perfect, and that's okay. This is a plant, this is nature. Okay, let me see what we can do, if anything, on this side when we fluff it out. Okay, let's turn it. That looks pretty good. It really does. And wherever I have my topiaries, I try to rotate them. If not daily, I'll just turn them to the sun. Let's see. Okay. Here. Pull that out. Okay. All right, we're gonna call this one done. I'm gonna take this off, this old t-shirt off very gently at the bottom. Just gonna roll it up. And voila, look, very clean, very, very nice. I like it. Okay, I'm just gonna show you a couple more that I have here. We have a double ball that I shaped up the other day, and this bottom sphere could use a little work, but I want it to grow a little bit more before I go in there and trim it. But overall, I like this one. I like the shape of it, and it's all personal preference. Turn it, get a look at it. That looks really nice. I'm a Topiary fan, so I like them. I like the patina on this pot as well. All right, now I'm just going to show you, and this will be something that we can do next time. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and trim this little baby. Okay, I'm going to clean my snips. Let me get rid of some of this, some of the trimmings on this. Okay, let's wrap this up. And this really should not take maybe 5 minutes. So I hope you're not incredibly bored with these. I'm gonna clean my scissors. The plants look healthy and clean, but you never know. And again, always be careful when you're cleaning any type of sharp cutting tool. Be mindful of what you're doing. Don't have any distractions going on. You see a cute little kitty jump up here. That's my little gardening boo. Okay, first step, flat top. Now this one's gonna be a little bit harder for me because it's lower. So I'm gonna have to be careful that I don't snip too much. So we're gonna make this quick and easy. I don't want you to think that this is something that you have to spend hours on. Nope. When you're first getting started, take your time. Step back and get a good look at these things. Okay, you can see over here. Okay, let's see it. Okay. Let me step away and get the blue from behind there. Okay, kitty kitty. Are you gonna be on camera? Boo boo. Come on, babe. You said hello. Let's get you down. All right, sweetie. Okay. See this in here. You know what, I'm gonna try, if I can, to make this one a little more of the flat gumdrop, flat on the bottom, so that we have a little bit more of maybe a gumdrop effect with that flat bottom, and see what you guys think. Okay, can you see the difference? See how this has kind of changed? Look, it's flat through here. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one as is. I don't really feel like I need to trim this one much more. What was this, 2 minutes that we've been working on this? And you can keep snipping and snipping all day long. You have to be really careful. I know with the pandemic, my husband has asked me to trim his hair, which I know nothing about doing, but he's asked me. I did it once, and then he asked me 2 more times, so obviously doesn't look so bad. He does wear a hat a lot. Maybe I should get him on here so you guys can take a look. Okay, all done. And like I said, you can always find something wrong with it. I have a critical eye, so I'm always looking for the holes a little bit longer on one side, and sometimes you just have to step back and call it done. All right, so we've got our myrtle topiaries. The next thing I just want to mention to you, and we'll do this in a separate video, is we're going to work on boxwood topiaries. And I just want to show you some that I've had growing for a while. Some I purchased very small. Sometimes you can find them through different sources where people are digging up their volunteers. And when you are looking for something that potentially you could turn into a topiary, you want a strong center stem. See how these have that? This will be one that we take off when we go in and start to train this one. These have already been trained. We're just trimming up the shape. Here's a small one right here. Here's another boxwood. You can see this. All of these are already growing in a shape that lends itself to a topiary, a single. I don't see where any of these really have the potential to turn into a double. So this is what we would think about doing with this one. And this is true with the myrtle. You're always going to come in here and clean up these bottom branches right here. And then you will just kind of go in and look at this and see what branches. For example, do you see how low this branch right here is? That might be one we want to take off. I'm just going to gently stretch it down so you can see the effect. I don't know how we're going to do that one, but we'll talk about that next time. So thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoy topiaries as much as I do. The myrtle and the boxwood are probably two of my very favorites. You can do this with a number of plants. Rosemary, you can do it with lavender. There are other shrubs that I have not tried that we can talk about. Oh, I do have the two bayberries in the background. I'll slide one over so you can see that. I love, not bayberries, bay laurels, pardon me, bay laurel. And I like this because when it's time to cook my spaghetti sauce, I've got my bay leaves right here. Preferably you want to be able to take them off and let them dry, but I have used them right off the tree. So until next time.